and welcome to Fellowship of Geeks. I'm Jim.
I'm Diane.
And today we're going to have our summer wrap-up, box office goodies from the summer, and a few back-to-school items to talk about today.
So, on a previous podcast, we discussed a little bit of upcoming summer releases, and we got a chance to go out and see several of them. So, let's talk a little bit. What looks like
I got to stop you right there.
Oh,
Stop right there. In the name of spoilers.
good call.
Spoiler alert. If you've not seen the summer blockbusters or the bus that came out during the summer, and also some of the new streaming stuff we're going to talk about in a little while, like Wednesday or King of the Hill, and you stick around, which we definitely want you to do, we're going to have some spoilers. Not too many, but we don't want to ruin anything for anybody, so you've been duly warned.
That's a good point. I appreciate that. There are definitely going to be some spoilers.
Definitely some spoilers. We saw some things. We have definitely some reviews and some views on some of the things we saw.
I think that's because we have opinions and lots of opinions.
We have lots of opinions.
I appreciate a platform to share our opinions on.
So awesome. We'd love to hear yours. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment.
Definitely comment down below. Tell us what you saw this summer and whether we are spot on or way spot off on what our opinions about the releases were.
And if we're dead wrong, that's even more interesting. If you just want to affirm us and tell us we're awesome, that's okay. But, disagreeing certainly is for better dialogue and sometimes a more interesting fellowship.
Well, let's see if you and I agree here.
We're not going to agree on everything.
So surprisingly this week, one of the great summer blockbusters, the savior of all that is DC, decided it was going to also stream.
What does that tell us about what Zack Snyder says?
Well, what Zack Snyder says might not be important anymore, but what James Gunn says might not carry any weight at all.
There's so many things floating around in my brain. I'm just trying to get them all out.
But
we know that James Gunn is a lying liar who lies and says what's convenient for him at the time.
I also think you hit something that has been one of the problems that he said he was addressing. There are so many Supermans out there. How do we reimagine an entire plethora and rename by doing... I was so frustrated that the movie has exactly the same name as previous Superman movies. Like, even its name is not unique, so you can't identify it. You have to call it now the James Gunn Superman or the... What's the actor's name?
Michael Cornsweet.
Cornsweet's
Which is Superman. A great name for somebody that the characters, at least from the Midwest.
It is a great name, and I apologize that I couldn't remember it.
At least it wasn't Zack Snyder.
I think a movie that determines it's not even going to wait out the end of summer to go to streaming.
Especially when the whole shtick all along from James Gunn was, it's going to have a long time. It's going to be in the theater, and his old theater hands, like, we want those movies to have legs. The longer they're in the theaters, the better it is for the theater owners, the employees. You're going to sell more popcorn. Like, that's all good for, going to the theater. And, like, all of a sudden dropping it to streaming is, and I think they're going to spin it because the box office did not live up to what they wanted to. Certainly not internationally. We'll talk more about that in a second. But the latest excuse was, it's because we need time to get, Peacemaker's coming in a month now, and we don't want Superman in theaters stepping on Peacemaker on streaming. And I'm like, what? And I think but you had talked about the consistency or the disconsistency, and we talked about Dungeons and Dragons and their new franchise model. Right. This is the DC franchise cornerstone that everything else going
Superman's
into the future,
a foundational block,
right, is going to build upon, and we can't even keep that straight now.
I also think it is a basic misunderstanding of what movie theater is to a populace, right? Like so to get really philosophical for a moment, you and I grew up working in movie theaters.
Absolutely.
Movie theaters and theater entertainment is often very recession proof. It's one of those industries people will save their funds to go watch because they want an escapism from what's going on. Right. And they have continued to do well even in recession times. to and there is a lot to be said about that shared group experience
Absolutely.
of being in a theater together, of everyone oohing and gasping or cheering and all of that going on, the big sound that you get in a theater,
Right.
the widescreen. Why on earth would you make 3D and IMAX films if the purpose was not to see them in a giant theater?
Mm-hmm.
So to so quickly say, wait, just stream it at home all by your lonesome,
Right. With your,
off whatever device you have, or with a couple of buddies on your own couch.
your kids are, screaming, running around, got to be put to bed. Somebody's knocking at the door. There's all those other distractions. It's not really that true escapism.
It's not. And my kid dings me on it all the time. I'm scrolling on my phone at the same time we're supposed to be watching a movie together as a family. So it's not the same shared experience. It's not the escapism. It is not the same mentality to watch a streaming as it is to go to a theater. It also means word of mouth. Hey, this movie was amazing. Let's go watch it. You and I worked through the summer of Sixth Sense.
Absolutely. Speaking of things that people did a really good job not spoiling.
That was exactly going to be my point. People who went to that movie and told their friends, this is incredible and amazing, you should come watch it with me. Nobody talked all summer about what the secret was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a spoiler. I'm not going to tell you. You should go rent that movie and watch it. Or I'm sure you don't even have to rent movies anymore. You just click the stream.
You can probably rent it on Amazon Prime.
But that was a movie that stuck around. I mean, I think it was there from May to September.
Right.
People kept coming back to the movie theater. They brought different people with them to come see it. They wanted everyone to have that shared experience they'd had at the big reveal when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow, you got to come see this with me. What this tells me, Superman doesn't have that.
And they don't have the faith in it. And I mean, you look at the domestic box office, and it did okay. And I really struggle.
That's what I want for my big hero movie. It did okay.
I mean, I struggle with saying $340 million is just okay. But when you spend hundreds of millions of dollars to make and market it, does it have to make $800 million to be profitable? That's an insane amount of money. That's hard to wrap your head around. And
it is.
And especially thinking old school. I mean, the old back in the day, you broke the $100 million mark, and that was, you had a blockbuster on your hands, and every dollar you made after that was just adding to it. And now it's like, yeah, there's $100 million movies or a dime a dozen. I mean, inflation and ticket prices have played in that, and when you're paying people, $50 and $60 million,
right.
and the effects and the amount of money they spend on marketing. And I thought Superman was marketed so poorly for such a big movie, and the amount of money they spent on the marketing, and they're never going to tell you, but it's like, oh, did it break even? And internationally, it was hot garbage. It did not, let's see what it do here. It did not do, it only did $250 million internationally for almost $600 million gross. So maybe if they spent $400 million to make the movie and market it, and they've made $600 million. Oh, wait, you're giving $300 of that probably to the theaters, because you're splitting that box office there. Even with a crazy first weekend, it did have some legs. The theaters did okay there. I don't know that you could call that a financial success. And James going, well, we don't care if we make money or not. The studio cares if you make money. They may make some really dumb choices and not understand how to make money, but they want to be profitable and make money. And so I think some of the others have done really worthy, but to say you don't care if it makes a profit, and it's like, how well are you going to do on its streaming? How many people are buying a $30 streaming copy or a $20 to, watch it for 24 hours or whatever on the streaming platform of your choice?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that's going to bump you up, and those numbers are not as readily available as the box office numbers are. So they can say, oh, it did fabulous in streaming and we made a fortune. It's all good. Go watch Peacemaker.
I think this leads into a lot too. Is one of the things I miss a lot is a second run theater. Those discount show houses where as things would fall off, you could go watch them
good old
somewhere else. $1 cinema, man.
$2.
Even
cinema,
if $5,
$5
you know,
yeah.
Superman's probably one of those that would have done well with a dollar cinema. I know Fantastic Four would have done better. I probably would have gone and seen Fantastic Four at dollar cinema, especially because they're now advertising it completely differently than they advertised it before.
And I think that's
it's a completely different movie
because the initial, again, marketing was not great. Because I watched the trailers and I'm like, the hell's this movie about?
right.
I'm like, this is a superhero movie that can save the day. Like, what more do you need to do than that? And there was all this angst and
there's all this angst
nuance,
and the no, we're turning away,
and
we can't do it. And I'm like,
then
what's the
plan? Then call the Avengers or something. I'm like, what are you doing here? And changing the character of some of the characters. I'm like, come on, what are you doing here? That's not what is driving people to the theater to see it, even if they're not, initiated into the comic or don't know the property that well. Oh, a superhero movie, and that looks cool, and this Galactus dude, and the Silver Surfer, and oh, it's got Pedro Pascal, so huzzah, it must be good. Not.
I think the other problem is it's not just, do you know the comic? From what I've heard, this one doesn't even take place in the same world timeline as every other Avenger thing we've seen.
Right.
It's an alternate universe, and there's a whole thing that I won't get into with you because I won't explain it right. And
I won't care.
And you won't care. But from the Doctor Strange and
Infinite worlds
and the
that,
Spider-Man and the Loki, where we've got all these threads, I'm not sure this is going to help Marvel or break Marvel, because it is then a different thread than any of the prior movies we've talked about, Fantastic Four being the 2010s and the 2015s. This is supposedly a completely different world.
And from the comic that draws the female Silver Surfer, it was like, oh, some pocket dimension, alternate universe, right, alternate timeline thing that had like
one-off.
It was like 6 issues or something, right, if I recall correctly. And like, who cares then? Why are you making such an esoteric comic movie?
Yes.
Make a mainstream comic book movie. Again, there aren't that many, as many fans of comics and that drive it. And the whole Marvel point of view, at least in the first couple iterations of the MCU, 2 things that stick out and I remember about that. They had a plan and they executed it by the numbers. And they also said, we don't really care what's in the comic. We have these characters and we're going to do what we want with them. It's like, great. It's going to really turn off the hardcore comic book guys. But that is such a fringe, especially when you're thinking about the mainstream. And if you make a good movie with characters they love, they're going to be like, well, it wasn't the comic, but it was a good movie. And
right,
and that's okay too.
And we've had that with a number of movies we watch. It wasn't the book, but it was good as a movie on its own. Even Kevin Smith. If you pretend Jersey Girl is not a Kevin Smith movie, it stands on its own pretty well. Right. If you walk in expecting Jay and Silent Bob, you're going to be horribly disappointed.
Right.
So yes, if you walk in not knowing comics, you enjoyed those movies a lot. If you knew the comics, there were places you could nitpick in them.
And pull it apart and be like, well, where did this come from? It's like, but if that's their attitude and they're going to throw it out and just use, like, great, go for it then, right, and make a good movie. And they had a couple cycles of that, and now it feels like they don't know what they're doing anymore. They didn't expect it to run this long.
Right.
The train has run off the tracks and is like, you're just making it up as you go, which is sure how the DCU feels like as well. Even though we've just restarted it for the umpteenth time.
And it's already off
in
the
the
rails.
modern era, it's off the rails. Like, how can you screw up with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman? Like, those are iconic, loved properties. And to not be, forget successful, and again, gee, I'd like to have the box office that Superman had, worldwide at almost 600 million now.
Right.
But if I spent more than that to make it that I'm going to take home, okay, you generated some revenue, but at the end of the day, the bean counters, and I mean, the movies always like, oh, well, you got to do this, charge off and that, charge off, and they never make money to screw actors out of gross points and things. Like, I get that. but that's not even close compared to what they meant. It just drives me nuts.
And I appreciate that I don't go to the movies based on whether it was really popular and it's making lots of money. I follow the box office a little bit because we've been movie
Mm-hmm.
insiders from our previous work before. So we follow that more, but it doesn't drive whether I'm going to go see a movie or not. And it doesn't usually drive my enjoyment of a movie or not. More often, I'm like, man, I'm surprised the box office didn't pan out what my opinion of this movie was.
And I look at someone, I'm like, oh, I've never
However,
heard of this movie before. Everybody's going to see it because it has crazy box office numbers. Maybe I'll check out something I wasn't
right.
interested in for. So that's the only place the box office would drive me to go see a movie.
Hmm.
And sometimes I look and I'm like, oh, why is this one doing so poorly?
Right. So this is, I think it lends itself to why movie theaters movie producers and companies have become very risk adverse. $600 million is a lot to risk on whether you're going to make your money back or not, and whether people are going to trash talk your entire franchise from now on. That's a
That
lot of risk.
right, it's a lot of risk, and it damages your studios. I mean, you look at the wreck Disney is right now, and how Disney Star Wars is adrift, and things are it announced, and it's like, oh, we're going to quietly cancel this, and you don't want your studio looking bad. I mean, Disney was the gold standard for not just years, decades. Like, oh, it has Disney on it, everybody's going to go see it, and it's going to be a successful, and we better pop more popcorn and get more
Right.
staff on. Like, it's going to be crazy, and I think in some ways they still did okay with that because Lilo and Stitch is $1 billion worldwide movie that came out, in
Who
the summertime,
ever would have guessed?
right? And I mean, $400 million domestically is nothing to sneeze at. Another 600 foreign, $1 billion movie. That is truly a big movie. And live action Lilo and Stitch,
I would not have
really?
expected it to go over as well as it apparently did. This is one I'm disappointed I didn't get to over the
Mm-hmm.
summer. I am looking forward to watching it on streaming when it comes out. Our family's been a big Lilo and let me rephrase. Son and I have been big Lilo and Stitch
I appreciate
fans.
Lilo and Stitch.
So I was sad not to get to go see it. It had direct competition with the live action How to Train Your Dragon, which didn't do as well as Lilo and Stitch, and had a ton of hype that it was going to do as
Right,
well.
and I mean, it's not the number really two movie domestically. There's a Chinese release that's made almost $2 million in China that nobody's ever heard of. But Lilo and Stitch is the big one. Minecraft's number two. How to Train Your Dragon's five, and it did really well in the foreign box office. Almost doubled. It made almost 200 million domestically, 260 and 360 in the foreign box office for How to Train Your Dragon. So again, $625 million there, and that movie probably didn't cost more than, even with marketing, 200 million. You give half that 600 to the theaters, you still have $100 million of profit.
Right.
That's not too shabby for an animated kiddie movie.
Both of them I struggle. We're going to call them live action films
Right.
whose lead characters have to be CGI
Right.
generated.
Yeah, I struggle with that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But
At least when they did Lion King, you could use footage of real lions.
right. And just digitally manipulate. Well, speaking of CGI, the big CGI movie, and I even brought it. I brought it down. That's right. Popcorn bucket. You're not even going to be able to see the whole thing. Like, I need to pull it back.
This
It's
thing
bigger
was
than
huge.
my head.
It needed its own seat
It
in the
needed its
theater
own
when
seat
we
in the
got it.
theater. So yeah, Jurassic World Rebirth, with its big giant popcorn bucket. And if you missed our popcorn bucket showdown, check it out. That was one of the big ones we picked up, and it truly is Jurassic size. Jurassic World Rebirth. If you look internationally, it's on its way to over $800 million. Did really well domestically, just edged out by Superman here domestically. I mean, they're kind of neck and neck, but Jurassic Park's been on streaming for a couple weeks now, and Superman just came out on streaming. I don't know how many more people are gonna that haven't seen it are going to go, I want to go see it on the big
Right.
screen, as opposed to, plop 20, $25 down and watch it from the comfort of my couch.
I have a lot of really good things to say about Jurassic Park, though. It is what it is. I mean, Jurassic Park movie, you're gonna get a Jurassic Park movie,
Mm-hmm.
and I appreciate that it just was what it is, and it didn't try and add a lot of subtext to things that were going on for me,
No, and they
and I appreciate that.
that got thrown out kind of after the second movie, and really after the first movie. Forget the science stuff. We're gonna have dinosaurs chasing people and eating a bunch of them. Don't you worry your pretty little head about that science thing. And that's okay. And popcorn people like popcorn movies. People obviously like seeing dinosaurs eating people, even in the what is this, the seventh iteration
Right.
of Jurassic something. So they're obviously doing something right. The dinosaurs still look cool,
Mm-hmm.
as cool as they did when we saw the original decades ago,
Right.
and we're just blown away. And you're looking at the like, holy cow! And it looked so good. The CGI was so groundbreaking, and still seeing those big dinosaurs. Whether it's some grassosaur or whatever, like wandering across and rumbling.
Dinosaur.
I forget what Lex calls them. Vegisaurus. Vegisaurus. There we go. Can't remember what Lex called it in the first movie. The Vegisaur is kind of like rumbling, and you like
Yes.
feel the base as this giant dinosaur, Brachiosaurus, Brontosaurus, whatever it is just lumbering across the
Mm-hmm.
screen, or all of a sudden, the raptors are swooping in on you, or you get, the mix in there. We have, the T Rex or whatever that crazy, alpha dinosaur is.
Mm-hmm.
It's still astounding to see those, and it looks so good. And I mean, it's not, little stop motion kind of dinosaurs we grew up with as kids in, Land of the Lost and things like that.
And they look good because the scenes are both dark and at
Mm-hmm.
night or in caverns or in, with funny lighting, but they're also scenes in bright daylight with gorgeous backgrounds, and the CGI looks exactly the same. You
And
can't tell a
right.
difference. It wasn't darkened because it was kind of crappy and we needed to cover it up. Like, it really looked good in both lightings and both sets of that scene, and I think that says a lot to how it is. I'm always astounded to go back, television's been replaying, one of our channels been replaying the original
Mm-hmm.
three. The first one holds up really
The
well.
first one holds up
The
so good.
graphics on it hold up really well.
I mean, that first scene where they pull up in the Jeeps, and the Brachiosaurs are walking across, and like she lifts his head up to look at it, and the John Williams music comes in, and the whole majesty. It's like, oh wow, that's really cool. And then you get Jeff Goldblum. Oh, it's all fun and games until people are running and screaming and being eaten by dinosaurs. But like,
Right.
just the majesty of like imagining seeing that, like, oh my
And
gosh,
so
that's
that
so cool. And it's
that
still
was
it's that escapism though.
it's the escaping. One of the things that was great in this one is it had so many Easter eggs and so many winks back to the six prior movies. Was really fun to see them just kind of pay homage to that, and kind of, when you, the front scene, the bus is going to Michael Crichton's
Right,
elementary
Michael Crichton Middle
school.
School or something like that.
So some
Just
of
caught
those,
that as just like zips by in that
yeah.
that early part of the movie.
There's a scene where the banner comes waving
Mm-hmm.
down in the same way it did in the first. Really neat winks like that to earlier films. But I appreciate there wasn't a forced romance.
Nope.
There's kind of a hint at a romance or connection, but there's nothing overtly romantic between the two
And
characters.
if any criticism I have, I mean, again, the popcorn movie, the science, check your brain at the door, the whole situation, how they get into it, the candy wrapper. I'm like, is that a nod to Nedry? I'm like, come on, really? I wish there would have been a little bit more character development, especially with Scarlett Johansson's character, because it's like, oh, we're gonna tease it, and no, not quite. We're not gonna go into it.
This one did make me curious enough for like a director's cut,
Right.
that maybe some of those pieces are fleshed out a little bit more, and hopefully you're right, we can see a little bit more of that.
It would have given her superficial esque character just that little more depth than I would have cared if she, lived or died.
Right.
Now I'm
Yeah.
like, you're just another. character. And are you the star? Are you, the supposed star? Are you gonna like? I was not as invested there. I'm like, oh, you get eaten by a dinosaur. Who cares? Like, as long as the bad guy gets eaten by the dinosaur, it's all good.
I was so much more impressed, believe it or not, with the development of the teenage boyfriend
Mm-hmm.
and the relationship between him and the dad, and some really great lines about just like personal development and that weird stage of moving from child to adult and how
Right.
you interact with each other. That character stood out so well for me, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, this is really impressive. He's kind of a jerk at the beginning and really a blow off and everything you probably think teenage boyfriends would be, but really stands up and moves in when it's needed.
Yeah, most of the movie, I was hoping he was going to get eaten by a dinosaur. Not gonna lie.
And there were several times
He had a couple
that
close
he
calls.
almost.
He had a couple close calls, mostly because he was a dumb teenager. I'm like,
Right.
all right, well, here we go. I'm like, oh, you're gonna. Oh no, darn, just missed it. So
But yeah, I appreciate Jurassic Park's. They're fun to some extent. That's another one that there was a nice gap in time between the first
hmm
three before they decided to kind of reboot it and
when
take
they came
another
back with
look at
Jurassic
them.
World from the Jurassic Parks.
hmm And so, not that I'm looking forward to more of Jurassic Park and Jurassic World type movies, but I appreciate.
Jurassic Universe coming to a theater near you, 2027. I'll be there. I'll go see it.
Isn't that called Alien?
Oh, no, we haven't seen that one yet. We
We
gotta
haven't.
get
I'm
caught up
really
there.
excited.
You gotta have your like crazy your crazy
I
marathon
want a
before you watch that
marathon.
one.
I do. I want a week-long marathon where we kind of watch. I found a chronological order to watch them
Okay.
in, as opposed to release order to watch them in. And so I do kind of want to watch all of the aliens and then watch the new one. I've not heard a lot of news about the new one, which
There's not
makes me
been a
nervous,
lot
I
of,
think.
yeah, I worry there's not been a ton of buzz on that one, so I'm like, is it any good? Like there was a little bit of an initial ad push I saw, but I'm like, oh, okay, we're just gonna like, hey, it's out there and we're gonna move along.
Right. I have one friend who said it was good, but is watching it episode by episode, not marathon
Not just
style,
crunching
even
through it.
though they were out altogether. So, something we did watch much more marathon style was Wednesday.
Wednesday we crushed through it and then even went
Okay.
back and rewatched some of it with the little guy.
Feel like we should issue another spoiler alert warning.
Absolutely.
We're getting into an area where we're going to have a lot more spoilers. So get prepared.
If you are getting ready to watch, if you haven't watched Wednesday yet, stop watching us, which is a really hard thing to say. Go watch Wednesday and then come back and share your take with us. You can pause it. YouTube will remember right where you left off. It'll be fine.
It's true. Go back to your history. I was
That's
so
right.
grateful to have learned how to do that. I start lots of things just so I can go back and find them again in my history.
Speaking of retro tech,
Really
oh, you're
way
screwing
off
their
the-
algorithm up. Oh man.
My algorithm is already screwed up because I share my YouTube frequently with my son. And so I have 16-year-old boy and 50-year-old woman YouTubes, and it doesn't know what it wants to advertise me for, which
That's keeps a little off balance. That's probably good.
right. Right.
All right. So
All right,
Wednesday.
but Wednesday. Yes. So Wednesday came out the first half of the
First half.
second season.
Absolutely.
And we kind of binged it.
We crushed it pretty quickly.
It
We
was
were a little
nice.
busy, but I was like, oh, I'm like, I want more. I'm like, who needs sleep?
I appreciate that it had that kind of draw, that it wanted us that quickly
Right.
into it. And we were really looking forward to it.
And the first episode was such an appetizer. It was like, oh, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, but all you got was a little bit of a taste.
We're back at school. Ooh.
Right? Hey, we're back at school, and all these things have gone on, and there were a couple, items that happened. I'm like, okay, well, we know some of who the big bad's going to be, or like what their MO is at
Mhm.
least. Saw some of the, who was back, how they were back. So that was good, and then but that was like, okay, I'm like, my appetite's whetted. Let's go. It was so good.
Yeah, so and lots of good, again, winks and nods to it. Was nice to see Christopher Lloyd have a part in it, even though I think the new Fester does a fantastic job with it.
And he is even more over the top, if that's possible, than Christopher Lloyd was.
So I saw an interview with him recently. He talked about often before shoots, he would watch the original Addams Families and then kind of have that in his mindset
Right.
and then just get on set and let it happen and not try to like put his spin. Like he was intentionally not putting his spin on it, which I thought was really
Right.
a great way for an actor to play homage to a role. But does such a great. I think he does a great job. He plays crazy really
Right.
well.
He plays crazy really well, and I like their take on Fester. So that's been really good. The thing I've really enjoyed, especially the first couple episodes, is Gomez. Always loved Gomez.
Love Gomez.
Loved Raul Julia's portrayal in the movies, and Luis Guzman. It was so good, and like they were kind of secondary, tertiary characters in the first season. Like they drop in and out, and I was like, oh, that was cool, but I was left wanting more. And so in the first 2 episodes, at least, there was a lot of Gomez with Luis Guzman, and his take on it and his relationship with Wednesday has just been so fabulous. Really enjoyed that, and really enjoyed his portrayal of Gomez.
You know, there is, I feel, more this season in how they parent, both Morticia and Gomez, in how they parent their children. And it's kind of, you're right, his relationship and the way he's kind of like, you're gonna do shenanigans. I did shenanigans. Go for it. Well, don't go too far. Like,
Right.
the amount of space he gives and the way he gives Wednesday kind of a safe space because he can recognize the struggle she has with Morticia, which, as a daughter, probably comes from being too much like your own mother. But but it's fun to watch them together and watch what happens next with them. So yeah, I do like that. Speaking of Morticia, though, I really like Catherine Zeta-Jones, and I appreciated her in the first role. I thought she did a great job in season 1 with it.
Great choice for Morticia. Really embodies the character.
I have had fun this season. Morticia has changed her clothes several times, which really took me off guard because I don't think I've ever seen Morticia change her clothes. So it stayed very much in the feel of the character, but she wore different outfits for different things. I am, however, frustrated, I think, with a makeup artist. And I think I've been able to kind of nail it down because there are several other characters that have this similar look that is just harsh, and it unfairly ages Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Yeah, I don't like her look initially. I'm like, what's wrong? Like, did she have work done? Like, what's up here? Like, there was something that was off. Bad's hard to say, but like she looked off, and I'm like, she's a gorgeous woman who's you know, in the grand Hollywood scheme of things, aging very well and gracefully. And like, what are they doing to her? And it really became clear in the Booking.com commercial where she plays Morticia, and I'm like, oh,
fabulous.
You look great, and they're not messing around with your eye makeup or whatever. Like, whatever's going on here.
Like, again, I think you could identify that something was off. I don't think you would have been able to put your finger on it. They have a drag out of her eye makeup like a cat eye, but not really. There's a white eyeliner they've added to her wet line that just reflects funny. Her lip liner is darker than her lipstick, and it's super glossy, which is just not Morticia-like.
Right.
It made it look like she'd had lip fillers in as well. And so part of me, the concern is it does such a disservice to Catherine Zeta-Jones. So I doubt this is something that will be fixed when the second half of season 2 comes out. But my hope is that it is toned down some by then. Love the addition of Grandmama.
Grandmama has been great, and her the way she caters to Wednesday, plays her off her mother. Was some really good intrigue there as well.
Yes. And very different from the Grandmama of the earlier movies.
And certainly in the movies, Grandma was a little on the more a Fester kind of unhinged kind of set, and then in the TV show was not as prominent. I recall it's been a while since I watched a TV show, but certainly did not have this bend to
Mm-hmm.
her. So really enjoyed that aspect. And do you like the new headmaster?
I think I like the new headmaster. So it is fabulous to see Steve Buscemi do something like this
With crazy hair, not
with
in an Adam Sandler movie.
crazy full hair. It is a very upbeat, positive, kind of straight role for him.
For a darkish kind of show,
Right. But he plays kooky so well.
right?
And this character's not kooky.
Yeah, it's just
I
really
mean,
upbeat
we're kooky and we're but
in a weird environment. So
there's definitely a secret going on.
oh, there's more to that story, and like
I
that.
did think he was going to pull out a picture of Dorian Gray when he opened that case.
Oh yes,
I thought it was going to be a picture of Dorian Gray. I thought I figured it out. It wasn't. That was too obvious, apparently.
And you only felt it. There were not too many pointers even, and even with some of the mysteries and the reveals that happened in the first 4 episodes, is like, okay, what else is going on here? Like, there's obviously more to this story, and they didn't even tease it really well. Besides, you just get this feeling that like there's way more to this story.
There's way more to the story. What I appreciated in season 1 was all the diverse fingers of story really led all back together. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we take some really diverse fingers of story here and draw them back together. I'm really curious to see how we're going to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot to cover in 4 episodes, especially after episode 4.
Like, we've used the siren so much more.
And she's very cavalier about popping her necklace off. And
like in season 1, she was like, I don't take that off. That's rude to ask me to. And now she's like, I take it off for everything.
And the reveal on her mother and that has been kind of interesting with her trying to rescue her mom or redeem her mom or whatever from the group she was involved with has been interesting.
So that's another one that kind of pits that mother-daughter relationship in dichotomy to Wednesday and Morticia's relationship or Morticia and her mother relationship. So that'll be interesting to see as we move forward with it.
What do you think about Pugsley now that he is a Nevermore attendee?
Pugsley is a fun addition. He's definitely trying to find his own way. I don't know that he's going to end up fitting in well. I'm not sure Pugsley cares about fitting in, to be perfectly honest.
Well, you're Adam. You're outcast. You're not supposed to fit in.
But isn't even the point that you go to Nevermore to find your people?
Your tribe? I mean, yes and no. And like what is his power?
He's a spurker, apparently.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, that's maybe.
Which is what the headmaster is.
And well, I thought he was more of a pyrokinetic, and Pugsley was more of a manipulate electricity like Fester.
Oh, okay. I see the difference now. Okay.
Totally different.
And there seems to be more groups than there were in season 1.
Absolutely.
More different types of outcasts to be around. So,
yeah, the pyrokinetics of Steve Buscemi's headmaster kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, oh, we have pyrokinetics now. Awesome.
So, also, what was your feeling about Pugsley?
I hate to skinny shame Pugsley, but the boy needs a sandwich. I mean,
I
like
puberty is Pugsley, real and hard.
skinny Pugsley is I struggle with that a little bit, and he's trying to find himself in a cheery, happy, I'm not my sister way. I'm like, Pugsley is dark and quiet and not quite as jovial as Fester is. Not in the same, not the same way of his father. He is much more dark and brooding, and as much as he is the target of a lot of Wednesday's things, like he has his own darkness too, and like we just haven't seen.
That's true.
Like he embraces some of the weirdness, but I don't see any real darkness in him, and I'm like, well, the real are we going to see the real Pugsley after 4 more episodes, or are we just going to get little tastes of it? I mean, it is Wednesday, not Pugsley, but
I do think there's some struggle in the fact that the show is centered on Wednesday being such a dark, brooding character. if that makes her different from her family to come here, you can't have more members of the family be dark and brooding. Otherwise, they're just the Adamses. Which is another way this show is very different than the older shows about it. And again, it's a great way of how something's been reimagined and stays within the feeling of it, but gave its own spin to it and is doing well with it. So we'll see.
Yeah, well, hopefully.
I really like Thing's little house that Enid built for him.
His little like shadow box.
That is
like,
absolutely
house,
adorable.
Yeah. Which is one of her big and that and her ongoing love story is she's found her place, or is finding her place in the pack.
Yes. Yes.
Which is kind of intruded on Wednesday's Jam as well. So it's interesting to see her character evolve now that she's not trying to wolf out and find herself there. Now she's trying to find her place in the pack where she felt like such an outsider among outsiders before. So
yeah,
interesting to see her growth as well.
That'll be fun. All right, another kind of dark and brooding streamer that came out was K-pop Demon Hunters.
K-pop Demon Hunters with even music that old Gen Xers like. I tried, didn't work for me.
You haven't even heard any of the music.
Spoiler alert, I listened to a couple online after some other friends of mine. They're like, oh, I saw my kid watching this thing and like those were some fresh beats and I checked it out and it was K-pop Demon Hunters.
No one says fresh beats.
Old Gen X people that are trying to be hip and cool say fresh beats.
It's hip and cool enough. It made the top 100.
The Hot 100, yeah, absolutely. Debuted it, I think number 1 came out in the Hot 100.
No.
Yeah, I'd read that like
no way.
Well, like rocketed right up the top. That is what a phenomenon this is, and it's
such a phenomenon. It's getting its own theatrical sing along release.
So you can sing along in theater with all your K-poppy friends. Or are they gonna have kimchi flavored popcorn?
Well, I'm more curious if they're gonna serve ramen.
Oh my god! Can you imagine what a mess that would be to clean up in the theater?
Because each of the girls had their own ramen.
That's why our kid likes it, because he's obsessed with ramen. Has nothing to do with the slinky little demon hunter K-popsters.
I think he liked it because it looks a lot like Troll Hunters and Three Below. Third Below, Three Below.
Sure.
Three Below. It looks a lot like those shows, which again, Troll Hunters, clearly they're hunting trolls. Have that same kind of demon hunting.
Do they sing Neil Diamond songs?
They don't sing any songs in those.
Well, if they're not real troll hunters, they don't sing Neil Diamond songs.
This is it's a cute movie and it's a cute premise behind it. I did enjoy it. I think we're gonna see a ton of Remy's for Halloween, or Remy for Halloween. Oh yep. Yes, everybody's gonna do their hair up in that big braid. It's a great story of friendship. And
from tweens to teens, they're gonna be all about if they can get them produced out quick enough, because who knows if that
is the problem. That happened a couple years ago. One Piece took off, and we thought that would be a great one, but it hit so late in the season they didn't get costumes out in time for it, and then it's had a giant gap. So the next year you wouldn't have wanted costumes for it.
Yeah, it's not hip and cool anymore.
Did have a neat conversation with our teen as we talked about like what was the theme of the movie. Like if you picked what the theme of the movie was. And I'm going to put the caution out there. He has been burnt by some of these movies before that looked like they were animated and going to be fun. And I'm grateful enough he doesn't care whether it stars girls or stars boys.
Right.
He's had a couple, he was like, this was at some point not in any way geared towards me, and I didn't want to have watched it, but we were 40%, 50% in already. So it led to a great conversation about fear and shame and demons and how you face those, because they are geared to isolate you. And that you have to admit to what those fears and shames are. And as soon as you do, you're not isolated anymore, and you defeat them.
And they lose their power.
And that is exactly what this movie was about. And it was exactly about coming together to not just save herself, but to save someone else from it. And to defeat, like the group is together because they're supposed to keep this harmony that keeps all the demons locked out.
Okay.
And they're the 400th iteration of this trio to do it. They've been doing it for thousands of years, but not the same trio.
So
Anyway.
like Old Guard Mark 5000.
And so trying to rescue then someone else and then find her own way when she's been told to be ashamed of this her whole life. So it was really, again, led to really neat substantive conversations, which I think is one of the things we really appreciate in a lot of movies, is being able to have those conversations and take it from more than just entertainment on the screen.
About those bigger, important themes.
Absolutely. And it was
that kind of transcend that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to see it portrayed in a way that I think is going to sink into a lot of tween and teen girls who maybe don't realize that's what they're watching. And really I think tweens and teens in general suffer a lot of peer pressure and a lot of societal pressure right now.
I can't imagine what the world is like with social media and Instagram filters and just all that nonsense that the girls have to deal with, and all the dumb things the boys could get into, which I'm glad I grew up in the era I did.
And I appreciate that it's both sides. There's each of them dealing with this fear and shame, and being able to recognize that as soon as you identify it and as soon as you bring it to the light, it holds no power over you anymore, and move forward with that. So very cute, hip, sing-songy kind of song movie. There was something so much deeper coming through it. It had so much more heart. So I might even figure out how to do my hair like that.
Oh my!
On a lighter note,
I tell you what.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. King of the Hill, season 14.
What'd you think of King of the Hill?
Happy it was back.
Yeah.
We got through the whole thing. Was a little bit early. I'm like, we were 6-7 episodes in. I'm like, all right, is there no mention of the late great Buck Strickland? Did he have one too many infarctions? And
which I only assumed he did. Why else would Hank have ever left Ireland?
Gone to Saudi Arabia. Right. I mean, he was the heart and soul of Strickland Propane. And I was like, oh, I assume something. Like I said, Mr. Strickland had one too many gambling debts, or an infarction, and it was moved along. So.
Sorry, I've gotten totally distracted. Our cat has just figured out that I am not upstairs, and I think he woke up from a sound sleep, and he's very distressed, and he's going to be jumping up and joining us
talking,
any
and we're
moment
not talking
now.
with him.
So sorry, got a little distracted.
Hank hasn't changed his attitude on cats that I know about, but he has changed his attitude on soccer.
He did.
There was the soccer episode where Boomhauer was with his girlfriend's kid.
Yes.
Hi. And
welcome.
Welcome to the fellowship, Moses. And he was reffing soccer and asked Hank for some help because he needed to fill in or something. And Hank's like, oh, sure, I fell in love with soccer while I was installing some propane thing at some giant soccer stadium in Saudi Arabia. And I was like,
I think you should learn how to say it like Peggy says it. Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia. No, they don't need to hear your prose, buddy.
Hi, dear.
So I was a little taken aback that Hank was team soccer, and then that the game broke down into a Texas style rugby-ish match.
Like, I think it redeemed itself though, because it did do that. It didn't stay as sorry.
Cat fur.
It did not stay a newfangled soccer thing. It devolved into everything we know.
Things always go wrong
out there, right?
And with Hank's steady hand, that's supposed to fix everything, right? So that was good. I struggle with Dale's new voice actor. He's really good, and then he's not. It's like, oh, and like I don't think there was one instance of pocket sand in the episode in season 14, so that was a little disappointing there. But Dale is still Dale.
All the words coming out of his mouth were absolutely Dale.
The words were Dale, and like I said, it's like, oh, that sounds like Dale. Oh, wait, it doesn't.
And I think what was disappointing is they did such a great job in an homage to the other characters that we've lost the voice actors to. And so I almost wanted, like, Dale had throat cancer while you were gone, or the smoking has really gotten to him, so he's all gravelly and stressed,
he's
and you
talking
can't
like
hear him
mad.
anymore.
They're coming right for us,
let's just make it different.
Right.
let's not try and recapture it. Let's just make
Hmm.
it different. Um,
So that was good. And then Bill's story almost started out really, really tragically, and then he was kind of an afterthought. He was not in it as much, I thought, as he had been in the old shows. Like, oh yeah, Bill's here. Oh, we're avoiding Bill, but just didn't have as much interaction.
mm-hmm.
Boomhauer with the live-in girlfriend and the weird stepson was an interesting dynamic. It's kind of fun to see Bobby and Joseph and Khan Jr. all grown up. It is weird that the grandson of Cotton Hill, who killed 50 men from the all the Axis powers, now has a Japanese German fusion restaurant
Right.
with
Owned
the
by a
majority owner is
Laotian.
a Laotian businessman. So it's a little
That's
little
really
of an
funny.
interesting take there.
That was one of the ones I struggled the most with when he said he's in business with Chang. I was like,
Yeah, Chan Song,
what?
right?
Like he was the not
He
the
was
villain, but
he
he
was
was
kind of a villain,
yeah, he's the villain to everything else in their childhood.
right?
Why on earth is he now your biggest investor?
And
I
I mean
struggled with that.
he has money, and I guess Bobby needed money, and they're trying to make it do. I don't like the whole relationship with Khan Jr. And his son there. That was odd the way they did that, and it kind of redeems itself at the end.
It does. And one of the things that I thought was not something I remember from the original 13 seasons that they addressed such poignant social
Mm-hmm.
issues. And so I don't know whether it just makes good TV because Hank running into all the nonsense that's changed in 20 years makes
Right.
good TV. Or there's a point to it. I'm not sure. But I think that's, it brought in all of the kids all just have open relationships and you can do whatever you want.
Except it didn't work out.
Except and it never
Right. Right.
does.
It
Um,
went really poorly, and Connie came to her senses and realized there, but it was like, wow, that was kind of odd. It was nice to see good Hank and Dee
yeah.
Dee, and he actually had a good kind of redemption story that
Hmm.
came around. That was nice. That one episode there was good to see good Hank and not bad Hank get along and again have a relationship and move forward. I did miss out. I mean, I know. I mean, Brittany Murphy, rest in peace, as well as Tom Petty, did not see Luann or Lucky or their daughter.
I thought maybe we'd see their daughter.
Right. Um,
Um,
and so was I mean, Lucky. Obviously, his luck ran out. But I
one could
was
never have expected Lucky to last
there's
that
there's
long.
there's only so many times you can slip on the PP at the Costco and not break your neck or
And
something.
in some ways, I always assumed Lucky was several years older than Luann,
Oh,
anyhow. So
I always thought he was closer to Hank and Peggy's
right
age.
now, an interesting voice change because you talked about Dale for a little bit. They changed Khan's voice as well,
Right.
and it was enough. I had to go look it up.
It was a little off-putting. It was so much of a change.
So apparently, there was a push to have better representation of authenticity in that. So I don't remember who originally voiced it. Mike Judd voiced
It's
and
probably, yeah.
Ray did half of them. It felt like originally,
And I
but
mean, even the actor that did Dale when he was making fun of Khan, and I'm like, he could pull off Khan.
so they had recast an Asian actor who has some success at when his bio came up and said like
Hmm.
Shang-Chi, I was like, oh my gosh, is he the Ten Rings guy? It's not that one. He's some other
Okay.
character in it. But
It was nice to see the episode where they get the horse and with John Redcorn and Joseph and a
yeah.
little bit of a redemption and connection story there. And again, he John Redcorn's voice actor was in the movie. I mean, he passed away right before the movie, so rest in peace to him as well. That was kind of
And
tragic
they
just
had a
as the new
great
show was coming out.
tribute
They did
at
a
the
great
end to
tribute on the
him.
end for him and for
Hmm.
Dale's actor, and so some of the others
Yeah.
was really it was nice to see that. So the question is, do you want more of Hank and Dale and Bill and Boomhauer and their new friend, who I just think of as Elroy?
Randy? I know it is.
Like, oh, it's Elroy. He's from Community. What? I guess that LinkedIn gig didn't work out so good.
I think it's a good thing in life to have a voice that's that recognizable
Right.
across wherever you
Mm-hmm.
are. However, you get known for, I think, and
Right.
certainly it's known to us because that's what
Because how much we love Community.
we watched
Well, and
them a
I
lot with
felt
him.
he
But
was like he came in with a bang
yeah,
and was featured in the intro, and then kind of underused.
but showed back up several
Yeah, and
times.
like I mean, but was like dipping in and out. But I thought was going to be again like they kind of dropped Bill, and Bill just had little blips in and out. He was kind of in and out like that, and I thought he was going to be a little more consistent. I know it was just 10 episodes, so you gotta hit all your marks. But the real question is,
To me, the fact that the fact
yeah,
that he's in it again
right,
at all
right,
is impressive because once he was no longer hanging out in the alley
mm-hmm,
and once he was no longer living in the house, this group's not known for staying around and keeping up with people.
right.
So the fact that they would keep up with him at all and interact with him again. I mean, the original
Well, I
has
know
that
the way they put all the
entire
roundabouts and
episode.
you couldn't get through the alley anymore. I mean, it made it much more difficult for him to get to the alley to hang out and have a beer.
But the original has that entire episode where Hank meets his counterpart, right? They have the
Mm-hmm.
same truck and they hang out for the one episode until it's like, oh, well, we can't schedule time together and you
Have you
live
tried
across
scheduling
town.
anything
Never
with
mind.
friends?
Never mind. And
Right.
they, like, he's never
Hard.
in it again,
Yep.
right? Drew Carey,
Drew Carey
another
was great.
iconic voice. Um, so back to your original question. Yes, I think it left me wanting more. I want to see more of what goes on here and
Right.
what happens.
I definitely want to find out what happened with Lucky and Luann's kid.
Yeah.
And there's a whole one. I'm like I was always hoping for a redemption story for Bill.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a tragic character and was the foil for so long, and then was almost an afterthought after the first couple episodes.
I want him to find his Governor Ann again.
Right. I want it, and that was such short lived. Like little touches with his family.
Right.
I'm like, there's potential there. Like give the guy a break because
Give the guy a
he's had so
break.
many bad ones. So, but yeah, I definitely want more. And Peggy and Hank trying to figure out retirement
Right?
and
Do
what
they
that
get a new
looks
dog?
like.
There was no mention of what happened
There was
to
no
Lady
mention
Bird.
of Ladybird or
Surely she did not go to Saudi Arabia with them.
yeah,
I can't even say it right like she does.
I
But
I can't even think it the way she says it. I was like, man, right? Where was Ladybird? I mean, I know it's been a long time, but like Ladybird, get some puppies, Mr. Strickland, like,
right,
and hold one of
something
those, or
here.
get like her granddaughter or something
Yeah.
for Hank. So that was another little kind of hole in there that we missed out on. So
So yeah,
yeah,
I'd be
I
interested.
I did enjoy it, and it did leave me wanting more.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of people that are getting left out, make a big segue into some retro tech. Big news last week was, and I won't play the awful sound
Oh,
or the wonderful
it's
sound.
a great sound.
It was a great sound when it stopped and you connected as opposed to redialed. AOL is in September doing away with dial-up service, and it made me ask the question, who still has dial-up service?
Who does still have dial-up service?
And I'm like,
Now on the flip side, we drove through Wyoming a couple of years ago.
yep. And
I bet
there was
I'm not
barely
sure
cell
they
signal.
have dial-up service.
But do they want dial-up service? Or are they missing out? I mean, they're like, oh my God, look, it's beautiful out here.
Maybe not.
We don't need the internet.
Okay.
We have this beautiful countryside and fresh air.
I'm positive they're not using cell phones because there was no signal.
There's not a lot. There's not a lot of cell phone there.
But yeah, dial-up service. Like, how many subscribers do you have to be down to decide you're going to make an announcement that
And
you're doing away with it?
what were you using dial-up for? Text, email? You weren't getting, an attachment to the latest picture of the grandkids.
This is like when people say fax me something and everybody's like, we don't fax anymore.
They should work in healthcare,
Just scan it and email it.
keeping the fax world alive.
Because fax feels kind of the same way. It makes the same kind of handshake. And yeah, what else would you be using dial-up for?
I mean, HughesNet's going to get a big bump, or
Starlink
maybe
is the
Starlink
new
is going to
thing.
get these, the big, maybe not a big bump, maybe that dozen extra subscribers. Like, I don't know what the tipping point was, and I was curious enough. I'm like, let's go to AOL. Like, what other services do they offer? And they have other paid services that you can use them as your gateway to the internet, and they have I'm struggling with saying the word value adds to pay them for it, because I mean you can still have free AOL email. I struggle with why you would want that when there are so many other choices out there. But like, okay, I'm like, who's like, yes, I want to use AOL's browser and all their add-ons and their value adds as my provide. I just like,
And I
okay,
think if you have an at AOL.com or Yahoo email address, you're kind of dating yourself really fast.
right, and also saying I haven't advanced with technology through the years.
And I'm not even intentionally a trilobite. Like, I just haven't advanced.
A trilobite, not a troglodyte.
Oh man, I
I mean,
don't
you're a
know
fossil either
now.
way. I mean, one's a fossil, one's
I knew I shouldn't have used a big word.
cryptozoological creature.
You're not advancing. And
Right,
you're not intentionally trying to stay behind the times. You know, like flip phones are coming back
right.
because there's an intentionality to step away from the constant
Still
contact.
want a phone, you still want text. Hopefully they have real keyboards, because I can't do like that. Like,
I'm not sure they all do.
I did not start texting until I got a real keyboard on the phone, because I'm like, no, not doing it. I'll call you first.
Right? Um, but that's a very intentional move.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an AOL email address, I don't think you're intentionally choosing an AOL address.
All those people watching us on AOL. Oh wait, we're good.
You're certainly missing out on 90% of the internet
90.
if you're using dial-up.
I can't even imagine.
Can't.
I can't. I
I
mean,
can't.
20 years ago I couldn't imagine.
Yeah,
So yeah, that was a kind of an end of an era there. But
it
I was
is.
curious enough. I'm like, does AOL have a business model that does not involve dial up? And I mean, you can go buy their services still that are, I guess, not dial up after September 14th or whatever their drop off date is. Well, speaking of being intentionally retro,
Mm-hmm.
have you heard who's back?
Who's back?
Commodore.
Commodore's back?
Commodore has come back as a company and not some joke, supposedly, but I still wonder a little bit. And they're talking about producing computers again and making a legit Commodore 64. Now you can
Can
go.
I play BC's Quest for Tires on a
Um,
legit Commodore 64?
I'm pretty sure the copyright owner, trademark owner, whoever it is, will still not release that. And I don't know why. Of
I
all
don't
the
know why.
well, it's some newspaper company. I'm like, haven't they gone bankrupt? Like,
I mean,
anybody care?
who buys newspapers to have the comic of BC in it anymore?
I mean, if I was going to buy a newspaper, having BC would be a would be based on. You don't have BC. I'm not buying your paper. $2 for a newspaper? Come on.
I love that game.
And it was one of the dumbest video games
It
ever.
was right my speed. Like, I think it is still my speed of a video game. Duck, duck, jump, duck. About as fast as I can go.
I had that. I mean, I was pretty sure I played that on my Commodore
You left
128
Catherine.
for about 5 minutes, and I'm like, this game is dumb. Like, as much as I like BC, and I thought the comic strip was great, I'm like, this is a dumb game. Why am I playing this game? There's 1,000 other Commodore games I could play.
So this news kind of came at a fun time in our life this week, actually, because on my Commodore 64, not only did I play BC's Quest for Tires, it had a tablet game that you draw on a tablet, which was unheard of at the time. It was groundbreaking at the time. Now everybody's got one. But in addition, I received a magazine that at the back would have coding in it, and you would type in
family
you know,
computing and all those
right?
other ones with like pages and pages of really tiny text that we could read easily back then.
And you type in the code and you'd hit enter and it wouldn't run, and you had to like read through and code find where you typed a semicolon instead of a colon and get it right.
Oh, there's an extra carriage return in there. Damn it.
Right. And so this weekend, though, our child, who has grown up in a world where
It just works.
tap the screen and it just works, suddenly expressed a desire to do some of these things and to build a home PC and to learn how to maybe code a couple of things. And so we went looking for a magazine
that are all well defunct. I mean, I knew my old favorite Maximum PC had been. I think they stopped. I think they stopped publishing print magazines in the teens, and just this year in March was their last digital edition, and they
I
bumped you out to
suppose
some other one. And I went and looked at it. I'm like, this is not a computer
I
magazine.
suppose I am not surprised that a digital platform, a computing platform, a high technology stopped producing magazines
Mm-hmm.
because everyone has magazines go the way of AOL.
I mean, there was the whole wall at
Um,
Biker Center they used to have, PC Shopper and
right?
Maximum PC and Home PC and PC this, that, and all the UK brand ones. And
Nothing.
there was a lot. And I mean, you're down to 2600 and Wired. Again, both technology magazines, but not hardcore computer magazines. Uh,
But
and and so,
it is exciting to
right,
see him wanting to do that, to kind of see what he might do next with that knowledge
right.
and excitement. And so trying to feed that with him to find where's the gap between, AOL dial up and the original Commodore 64s that we had
Get him a renewed
and where we
64 and
are
be like, start
now.
here.
Right. There you
Got,
go. Good
40
luck to you.
years to catch up with their parents.
Good luck to you.
Good luck. All right. So, last but not least, everybody's going back to school.
Back to school.
We talked about a little
Back
back to
to
school action
school.
with Ronnie Dangerfield in Back to School, but
Yes,
Billy Madison sang the Back to School movie.
that's
Don't want to
true.
get that one wrong there. Trapper Keeper, talk about old school technology.
Definitely old school.
Were you excited for your new Trapper Keeper back in the day?
Absolutely.
Was that groundbreaking technology with the folders that were you couldn't shake your papers out as opposed to the old school ones and they just like blah dumped all over the school bus and everybody's laughing at you?
I don't think I had that experience, so
Well, mine were mostly like pictures of cars my friends drove and things I ripped out of magazines and things I
I
didn't.
walked to school, so I did not have a school bus experience.
Man,
Yeah.
I lived out in the country through
No.
pumpkins.
We lived close enough. We walked.
Yeah, that was nice. But yeah, I mean, I never did it because it was cool. I'm not gonna dump my papers out, but I made fun of plenty of people
Ah, is
that
that what
they're old school. Well, you
happened?
should get a Trapper Keeper. Not
Trapper
only is the
keeper.
folder like folded in the top and locked together and Velcro on and the whole 9 yards. And so the Trapper Keepers are still around. I was surprised when we were looking at Walmart and they had the Stranger Things ones that
Yes.
we couldn't find or were like sold
No.
out the
I
second they
tried
came out.
everywhere. I know.
I would have liked to have had a Stranger Things one. So,
I think they've even made one a couple of years because as I looked,
mm-hmm.
there were different years releases, and I can't find any of those anywhere
What
still.
better to tuck my new Shadow Dark characters and notes in than a Hellfire Club Trapper Keeper? Come on, let's go.
Yeah, I get excited even to this day for all things back to school. I love school supplies. I love new pens. I love getting a new notebook, a cool folder, a file folder, even like the dividers to go in like the binders that I carry now. I
But
love
you
all back to
loved
school. I
school
loved
though,
school. I loved school. I
and
like taking notes. I enjoy all those
it's like,
things.
oh, I get to go see my friends and we can play games and goof off and break things and screw around and hey, gym class and oh, maybe we'll have pizza for lunch. And that was the extent of my love of school there.
See, and I like packed a lunch, didn't have a ton of friends, hated gym class.
Man,
I
might
went
get,
for the educational part.
might get to play some dodgeball.
What other book could I read?
I was always reading books, but none of the ones that were assigned. I was always getting in trouble because you have your school book up there, and inside was a comic book or some novel I was reading or something. Teacher come like, "How's that?" I did read history, but the English, whatever they gave assigned us in English, I'm like, I'm not reading All Quiet on the Western Front. I am reading a war book. I mean, if that helps, teacher. No, that did not really help.
Man, I had a 5.5 pound Shakespeare book in high school that we hauled around.
You should have been better at gym. You'd have been all
And it
strong.
was so heavy. I actually put it on the scale one day and I saw it in the used bookstore because I was looking for Shakespeare because we're teaching a Shakespeare lesson this year. And I found it and I did point it out to our son, but I did not make him buy it or have to carry it around.
When you were walking to school, did you list and just walk around the block a couple times before you have
It
to switch
felt
shoulders to
like it.
make those turns?
It did feel like it. But yeah, I still I have not gone. I still usually go get new school shoes. I've not gotten new school shoes for this year. I may have to save my budget and go buy our child's school shoes because the small hole summer camp drew in his shoes
Oh my gosh.
blew the whole side of his shoe out the other day. So,
Boy's gonna need some back to school
new
shoes,
shoes.
probably in a larger size, maybe wide widths or something. So I saw how it was blown out. I'm like, bro,
Oh.
you need some wides there. Yeah, when I became an adult or an adultish and I had two nickels to rub together, it occurred to me I don't have to wait for the middle of August to, go back to school shopping. I can go to Staples in like February and buy some new pens or like get a notebook or like, oh, they have all kinds of notebooks. I was like, oh, wait for back to school. Screw that. I can go to Staples anytime. And now Amazon, like, oh, look at that. They can have me new pens tomorrow on my doorstep.
But now I'm on the side of adulthood. I'm like, who pays $4 for a notebook? They're like 50 cents if you wait till August.
Well, if you get the really good paper,
You are all about the really good
I'm
paper
all about the really good paper.
in the digital world that we live in.
I love my laser printers. There's nothing better than owning your own printers. That's right. I own two printers, and that's not counting 3D printers. And I like good paper. I like bright, white, probably awful for the environment paper. Not like gray. It wasn't even yellow. It was like gray mimeograph paper. And you're like,
It was so thin.
oh my God. That was, and I like, oh, I can read all the smeared, like, a mimeograph of a mimeograph page. And you're like, dear God, what does that say? Why would you even want to read it? School crap, huh?
It's school crap.
Probably something I have to take home and get my mom to sign because I didn't do what I was supposed to be doing.
So instead, what are you going to try and educate yourself on in the next week?
So what am I going to educate myself on in the next week? Well, I do have new pens.
Ooh.
And so I did get turned on. I got my new pen. So I might buy some more of those. I'm on my third iteration of new pen this year.
I'm so glad we didn't wait till August.
Right. Maybe they'll be on sale, but they won't be on sale because I like the extra fine, and nobody likes theirs.
No.
They're like a needle. You can't even see what you write. I'm like, what do you get that one? It's like writing with a piece of coal or something. Like, what are we, cavemen? Come on. Besides, if I have like a
We
little
want like
tiny
the
point,
half college lined paper too.
oh, the college rule, like the other one, like the giant
It's called
wide
wide
rule. It's awful rule. I mean, like I was happy to get to college. I'm like, oh, I can buy college rule paper now. Do you know you don't have to be in college to buy college rule paper? What? Mind blown. Love the college rule with my teeny tiny little pen, my teeny tiny little block printing, and annoy you, you cursivers. I can write in cursive. I wrote minimum in cursive to see if our son could read it the other day. The hardest one, like, oh, it's a bunch of bumps there.
I only learned to print when he was in preschool. I write almost solely in cursive.
I'm so
can just do
lazy
fast,
when I write
faster.
in cursive that it just becomes squiggles and lines, and I'm like, that doesn't even make sense anymore. So that was why I reverted back to block printing in my adulthood. It's not as fast, but it's legible-ish.
Ish.
And writing in cursive, again, I would get lazy and thinking about the other thing, and I'm like, all of a sudden, I'm like, there's a bunch of squiggles on there. It's like, and I was like, oh, back and just write the loops, and like, it was hot, and I was like, no, I have to stop. Yes, I can. If I really focus, I can write in cursive, but that means I have to really focus, and I can't pay attention to what's being said. I'm not in the moment. Just get out your phone and turn on your AI app so it transcribes it for you, and you can print it out on your pretty white paper on your laser printer, and like 14 fonts so it's
And
legible.
then you can highlight things. I like highlighters too.
I like highlighting too, but I sucked at it. Like all of a sudden,
You can't highlight the whole page.
This
can't
was my
highlight the whole
problem.
I will say, one of the classes I was in at the many, 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 many years of college of schooling that I went to, taught us how to like outline with highlighters in the book. And so it was multi-highlighter colored,
Well, I know you have all your different colors.
but they mean special things. And so when you highlight with them in those colors, it means certain things.
Do they always mean the same thing?
Always. You have to put a
Do you-
guide
do
at
you
the
remember
beginning
the
of the
key?
book. Well, you put a key at the beginning of the book.
Do you change it up? Like, oh, yellow used to mean important, and now it means like vocabulary or some crap
I
like that.
did not, because it was important to keep it the same through a whole semester.
Then why do you need the key? It's always the same.
Your child switches it up every chapter.
Oh God, every chapter, not every subject. Oh, I want to apologize again as his partial DNA provider. to his teacher that he suffers from some of his father's sins when it comes to schoolwork.
Yes. Yes. So I did order myself a new planner and some new pens, and I will use all my fancy colors to write out our curriculum, and it'll be fun. So
I should find my planner I bought in January and used for a whole month. All right. So, are you excited about back to school? Did you see the summer blockbusters? Have you watched King of the Hill and Wednesday? If not, thanks for sticking
get
around
out
with us the
there.
whole time. Go watch those and tell us what you thought about them. We certainly enjoyed them. Tell us about your summer blockbuster or bust that you saw that weren't as good. So, I want to thank you for joining us for Fellowship of Geeks.
I'm Diane.
And I'm Jim. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for coming.